everybody. Hi, Facebook, YouTube, everybody, what's going on? It is your girl, Chrissy. Thank you for tuning into the first episode of Ciphered Knowledge with Chrissy. And I have my special guest with me, but I will announce her in a little while. But you can definitely see her on the screen. I do want to say thank you so much to everyone who is supporting me, who has liked the page, who is sharing the page. I had a goal of reaching 400 members before tonight, and congratulations to all of you. I have 427. So we succeeded and exceeded. So before we go on, I'm going to let you know that to make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, 2M1L Media. You will find 3 great shows there. You're going to find Ciphered Knowledge with Chrissy. You will find Spitting with Spitter and Around the Turnbuckle. So make sure you click on like, subscribe, share, and hit that button so you could get notifications when we are all going live. And on that note, I am going to welcome our special guest, Veronica Moya. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Please introduce yourself.
I'm very excited. And your first show, congratulations.
Thank
and
you.
Inspiration, Chrissy. You really are. I can't believe you have more than 400. 400?
Yeah, 427.
427.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. That's when you can be teaching classes.
No, you're the professional.
Different topic.
Yes.
This is very impressive. Congratulations. And I'm very honored to be here.
I'm honored to have you on very much. So you're an amazing woman. And why don't we tell the viewers what it is that you do?
All right. So I teach children and teens, young people, how to know themselves, how to tap into their potential, their abilities, their intuition, how to love themselves, how to tap into that part of themselves that always knows everything and can always guide them in the perfect and right direction. And we do this, I do this mostly through meditation. So in short, you could say I am a meditation teacher, but I'm not. It's a lot more than that. It's just meditation is a tool that I learned to use, that I find it that is very effective to achieve our goals, right? We all have goals.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I always, I teach, it's always meditation with intention. There's always a goal. It's not about just being calm, and being relaxed, even though that's part of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the goal. That's not my aim. My aim is to help them get the competitive advantage by learning to tap within and to utilize all the tools that we have. We all have so many tools, and we're using them constantly, and a lot of them we don't even know. Like, your lungs are working all the time. You don't even have to think about it.
Involuntary.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
The heart. I mean, so many organs. And our mind is here as well and is working for us, whether we want to or not, whether we take permission or not. So if we don't learn to manage the brain and the mind, it just goes and does whatever is used to do it. So meditation will help us focus, be present, regroup, and train the mind to work in our favor. So that's what I do. I think it was way too long.
No, you have to explain it. So tell me what brought you to this? Like, did you just wake up one morning and was like, oh, I got it. This is what I'm going to do. Or was it?
So, okay. Excellent question. So the truth is, I'm very aware. I've always been very aware. Sorry.
No.
Lesson number 1, always have a lot of water. I always drink a lot of water. And it's very good. It's good for the brain. So I have always been very intuitive, very aware, extra. Obviously, I personally don't think there's anything special. I personally don't think I have anything special. I believe that we all have the same abilities. It's just that I use them more often, I guess. So even growing up, I would see things and see things that were normal, obvious to me, People lie a lot and people wear disguise and things like that. But when you are able to tap into the essence of another person, we are all, you realize we're all one, we're all united, and there are no secrets. So because I have that ability of tapping into the truth, for me, I would see things that were like very obvious to me, and other people didn't see them. Like, I was like, what are you talking about? Like, you're either lazy or you're stupid. There's no way. So anyway, long story short, many years ago, I stumbled upon a psychic development class at the Edgar Casey Center. I was curious because I was always inclined. I had that I don't want to
connection
say,
or
yeah. So I took the class. It was fascinating. It was so much fun. And then I started doing readings for people, adults.
okay.
Obviously. So after doing that for a while, I realized that most, and again, it's all about empathy and connecting with the person in front of you. And when you do the readings, you always want to help and be of service. And the intention is always to bring forth information that could be helpful to the
Useful.
person. Yes. And so I would always try to help them and guide them, help them see how, because I'm not a fortune teller. I wouldn't tell you, oh, this is going to happen, that's going to happen.
Because I was about to ask for the lotto numbers, but okay. I thought I was going to ask about for the lotto numbers.
No, what I can do is, like I said, I can tap into the essence of the person and pick up things that are happening spiritually, emotionally, and kind of dissect it and bring it as a mirror. And with that, I can give some guidance from a deeper perspective, if that makes sense.
Makes sense. Absolutely makes sense. I feel like you can feel people's, and if you're in tune to that, you can definitely feel someone's energy and say, I want to be around this person, or I don't want to be around this person. Sure. Right?
Yeah, but I think we're all beautiful and perfect at the core, right? It's just that it's masked. Many times but yeah, it's true. I mean, we are human. Some people I like, other people I don't. So what I learned, so let's go back to why I'm working with children now, is because during that work, when I was doing that work, and then I quit. At one point I stopped because it was just too sad.
Time comes, okay.
Yeah, it was too draining. What I realized is that people didn't really want to change, or didn't want to go within, or they didn't want to own their part on their lives. So they would come, basically they think, you come to a fortune teller, you come to get your someone telling you.
Tell me what to do.
Right. And that's what they wanted. That's all they wanted. And because they could tell that I was the real thing by some things that I would tell them, which was about themselves, they figured I'll know it all and I can tell them other things. And also I realized they just want to hear what they want to hear. They don't want to grow. They don't want to do the work. They don't want to change. And also by now, as adults, 30, 40, 50 years old, I mean, the journey to recovery and to self-help and to self-love and to self-assertiveness, it would be such a long road and
right
uphill climb, right? So that's when I was like, well, I think we're all starting too late. And some of the, there's so many self-help books out there, from Louise Hay to, so many yes. authors. If you ever watch Oprah, she pretty much presented
all the soups of the souls and all the fix your life. What Issa, what's her name? Yes, like
yes.
Starting with the basement, and
that people want that. That is something that's coveted. But I think we should start when we are young. If we had this opportunity to tap within, to learn about ourselves, to honor ourselves, to love ourselves, to do these exercises, these affirmations, this looking in the mirror and tell ourselves how much we love ourselves, how valuable we are, how important we are. And if someone would have taught us while they were teaching us reading and writing and math and all that stuff, that also we have power within, and we have
Mm-hmm.
power in our minds and in our brains to create our life. Then we'll be ahead of the game. And so that's why today I like to teach, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-olds to tap within, to go within, and to develop their gifts, to trust themselves, to love themselves. So that's why, again, I answered too long. But
No, it's okay. And we actually have a question for you. One of our guests, JT Fung. Hello, good evening, JT. Do you believe certain foods affects the way that we think?
I don't. So I am of the idea that we 100% create everything that happens in our lives. And if you are in tune and at one with yourself and you're really listening to yourself, you will go ahead and you will do whatever is right for you. So for me, this is how I work.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that comes from the intellect, anything that is like, oh, they told me I shouldn't eat this, or I should do this, or should do that, I don't go for that.
Okay.
The only truth is what's speaking to you from within. So, and that's why training yourself to learning to hear yourself, listen to your heart, listen to your mind, listen to your core, your essence, your spirit,
Mm-hmm.
is so important. Because if you're at peace, if you're in harmony with yourself, you're not going to be drawn to eating or drinking or taking anything that's harmful to you. Just naturally, you're not going to want to do that. But let's be honest, I just had like those Oreo cookies. So like, no, no,
I had Oreos earlier too, and I was not supposed to.
I have no problem. I mean, obviously, come on. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I know. Listen, I work there. I have a lot of colleagues, a lot of people in the new age industry and the holistic business and holistic industry. And everybody has their recipes. And I have a lot of friends who are vegans and others who are vegetarian. I am not from Argentina originally. We eat meat, and I'm happy eating meat. I also don't feel guilty about that. I think I understand that the way they kill some animals is not, but that's a different story. That's the
Right.
human doing something.
Right.
Nice.
I mean, when you go all the way back to the beginning of times, as long as you hunted for food and not for game and things like that, that was is what we did to survive.
The
So,
way I see it, we all have a function. We all have a plan in this earth, and we're all here to be of service.
mm-hmm.
So if a cow was created to feed us and nourish us, then you bless it, you say thank you, and you go on. And they live their life, and then they stop. And we do the same. We're not here forever. We're here for a short period. We don't decide when we leave. We just are here, and hopefully will also be of service to other people. And yeah. And then,
Well, I have another question for you. And I think you kind of touched on it just a little bit. But like, in what areas of life can meditation help? Like, is it, I know we're going to be mindful and kind of be at peace with one and kind of, center oneself and stuff. But like, are there areas, like, is it, how does it help you with, can it help in finances and your relationship and work and things like that?
well, all of it, right?
Okay.
So yeah, so that's funny because I'm dragging my feet, but I'm scheduled to. So I do guided meditations.
Okay.
So once again, there's lots of different meditations. There's lots of meditation schools. There's transcendental meditations. There's
So really quick touch on that, because I don't think I think most people when they hear meditation, they think of one thing and one thing only. But I know when we talked earlier, like, you blew my mind with the different meditations.
Right. So for me, the way I do it, what I practice is guided meditation. Once again, we're all different. We don't, not everybody likes chocolate ice cream. We all like different things, and we all respond to different things. For me, meditation is about getting it done. I always meditate with a purpose. And that means that's why I use guided meditation. Guided meditation are meditations that I do. So if I guide you. So I talk,
Mm-hmm.
whoever, right? You can, there's tons of them. You can Google it. You can go
Well, we're
online.
gonna put your webpage up, and we're gonna get your YouTube up so everybody can go follow.
So I have
Mm-hmm.
a YouTube channel. So I have tons and tons of meditations. They're all guided and they are with a purpose. So let's say if you're feeling anxious or nervous, and so there's a meditation for that, and it talks
Okay.
you into. Or then there's meditations, yes, definitely for school work or for performance. Basically, it could be at work.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because so I know I specialize in young people, but my meditations, like I told you before, I have mothers doing it with their kids. It's for everybody because I do it. I'm using what I think is good and it's useful for me. It helps the kids. It helps me. It helps anybody who listens to it. The message is still okay. I'm getting off point.
No,
So
it's okay.
sorry, let's go back. It is good for performance, for anxiety. Yes, performance at work. So these are all, you can call it meditations or we can call it exercises because there are a lot
Okay.
of people who do them as well. Because I've seen psychiatrists and I've seen doctors recommend and say they don't call it meditation. They tell you how to do, okay, breathe like this.
Breathing. Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's what it is, and visualization and you know, basically it's a mindset. It's
Yeah.
all about training the mind to work in your favor.
So then
But
I guess I've done it because I have anger issues, and I've been told to monitor what I feel physically and emotionally before I have that rage, like before I have that outburst.
yes,
And kind of recognize that and be able to pull myself back in and do the breathing and walk away and decompress, remove yourself from the situation. Don't. So I guess I've done it without even knowing I'm doing it.
fantastic. I don't always do it. That's why I think I'm the best. I'm a great teacher. Well, you know why? Because anytime you think about meditation, you see those people who are like,
And yeah.
I know. And I'm like, I can't relate to that. I'm like, you're naturally a calm person. Please, I can't just sit there and go with a bowl, because I have everything. I have those things. I have the bowl, you
Yeah.
balancing, and then you sit and you listen to the bowl. And then there's other meditations I told you with mantras, like the
Yes.
Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, and you just repeat that a million times nonstop. And that is
Mm-hmm.
supposed to take you to a place and take you to like a trance. But
Okay.
because that's not my thing, and I told you before, I used to teach in Sunday school. They hired me at a church across the street. And I was raised Catholic, so I was taught that we had the Holy Spirit inside of us. And I thought, this is brilliant, because I never understood it when I was little. It's a mystery. It's the Trinity, and the blah, blah, blah. I remember going like, and now I said, oh, this makes perfect sense. So now
Mm-hmm.
I would guide the kids to go within and to connect and to talk to their Holy Spirit, who's always inside of them, and is
Mm-hmm.
there to guide them in the right way. Oh, somebody's.
No, that was me. It doesn't matter.
Oh, okay.
This is all you, girl. This is all you.
So,
I Go
so
ahead.
I created guided meditations for Christian, people. I mean,
The
specific.
ministry, right? The youth ministry and stuff. Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, and it was so beautiful. It was so rewarding because it finally made sense. And for all those people who think, well, meditation is something from the West, as the Western is not, it's not Christian thing. It's not true either. We do this all the time.
Well, when we were talking earlier, I was like, what did you think Jesus did for 40 days, 40 nights, right? Like,
When you
he
are
came out of
alone, I mean, you're not talking to yourself. You are. You're
absolutely.
always with yourself.
I
This is
talk to myself all the time, and
this
I
thing.
answer.
Huh?
I said I talk to myself all the time, and I answer. That's the scary part.
Of
We
course.
have some questions from the group. So Haywood, hello Haywood, good evening. Thank you for watching. He wants to know, how early can children start meditation?
You can start as early as you want, 6 years old, 5, but I'll say they're fidgety and it's hard for them to close their eyes. So if you have a young child, I would recommend doing it at night before they go to bed. So you do it as, instead of just reading a book, it'll be super smart to read something inspiring. And, I have lots of meditations for bedtime where really, remember, this is about programming the mind, programming ourselves. So giving ourselves or giving the kids a lot of love and a lot of positive reinforcement. And you know why? Because when we're little, this happens constantly, all of us. We were talking about this before. We have so regret as adults. We constantly, and you're just talking about me. You seem like a beautiful, lovely person. I can't even imagine you being angry or having anger issues. But somebody, yeah. But you know what I mean. Now that's what you already have it. Oh, I have anger issues. That's that's the label. And when you're a kid, you are told no a lot, so many times, constantly. No, what did you do? And as a parent, you panic, you freak out, and you have some reactions to things. And those reactions really impact the child. And we all know this. You know this. You read books, you read the magazines, yada yada. You know this. We all know this. But it's hard. Sometimes it's hard not to react. If your child is running in the street, like, you don't want them to go into the street, right?
Well, and we spoke about this earlier. My son is, 13 going on 14, and he's very high anxiety. And I'm very much the old school parenting, right? Like, kids are seen, they're not heard. You speak when you're spoken to. This is an adult conversation. Leave the room. Like, this is, always been, tough love. This is how it's always been. My first two, that was easy to do with them. That was no problem. They got it. But my youngest is very high anxiety, very emotional, very genuine with his feelings. And I've learned that I have to parent him different than the other two. And we have to have those conversations. And I have to hear him speak. And then I also have to reciprocate that conversation instead of it just always being, no, this is what I said and that's what you're going to do. These kids are different now. And
I know that's different. You can still say that. Why? Because I said so. And that's it. And that's okay. But that's what I'm saying. In addition to that, make sure they desperately, definitely need the positive reinforcement. So what I think, what I want, what I need right now from you is A, B, or C. It doesn't matter. That doesn't negate, that doesn't change who you are and how you should feel about yourself, because you are still fantastic. You're a superstar. You are perfect just the way you are. You are blessed. You are loving. You're beautiful. And those things, and I know it sounds corny or whatever, but this is what I do in my meditations in the morning and at night, about positive reinforcement to remind yourself who you are, what your essence is, and your essence is perfect. You are perfect inside. We all are. And we forget about it constantly, obviously. We make so many mistakes. People tell us, our peers tell us, our spouses tell us, our teachers, our friends. People always point out everything you did wrong.
And nothing you did right, right? Absolutely, that you can have 10 things right, one thing wrong, and they'll always be sure to point out that one thing that you did wrong.
Yeah. You can still be proud of your kid and say, I'm disappointed, so what? You can, you still can feel, be whole, be happy about yourself and accept, because that's a very strong and adult conversation, right? That's why my aim is to help them develop emotional intelligence to the point where, however mom and dad are feeling, because again, we're adults and where things happen and, financial hardship and couples fighting and in-laws and oh my goodness, the list never ends, right?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously that's going to affect everybody in the house, whatever happens to you, it just before
imagine what potential a child can have if a parent every morning reminds them how wonderful they are and how much of an amazing human being they are. And, my stepson, I had a conversation with him one time and he was messing, older, served in our country, did all of that. And he had messed up and I had to have a talk with him. And I said to him, And I didn't realize how much it was going to affect him. But, he cried. He probably hates that I'm saying this, but he cried because I said to him, I didn't discipline him. I didn't I'm upset. What I said to him was, do you know how amazing you are? Do you know that you are a young Black man that served our country for us? You have no children. You have no felony charges. You've never been incarcerated. Like, you have beat the stereotypical young Black man. Do you understand that your greatness lies within you and you want to just throw it away? And oh my God, he got so emotional. Because I don't know that anybody ever told him he was great. So you definitely see the difference. I've witnessed it firsthand on how important it is to understand your greatness and also encourage our children.
Yes, definitely.
We do have another question. How do you get kids 10 and older to understand what they do to get what they want can cause serious issues towards a parent?
Huh?
Okay, so I think what she's saying, right? This happens to be my mother, by the way. I think what she's saying is, some kids will manipulate a situation to get what they want and don't understand the consequences that can come from that manipulation. So how do you get a child who's 10 to see that their actions have a reaction?
I'm out of words. I don't know. Because I'm trying to come up with an example. Do you have an example? How can they manipulate?
So you have, let's say you have a divorced family, and there's shared time with the kid, and the kid goes to mom and says, Dad said that I can go out to the park and play. He'll be there to pick me up. And then the kid goes out to the park and play, knowing that dad never said he could come and pick him up. And now this poor 10-year-old kid's playing in the park by himself with no adult supervision and don't realize the, concern it could cause mom. I don't know. I don't know if that's a meditation answer.
I think that's,
I think that's another show. That's another show.
I don't fix that with meditation. I'll tell you that. That's if it's 10, he's not stupid and he's not young. 10, it's a young little kid, boy or girl. Yes. They understand. They know.
So we'll answer another question from her. That was
if it were me, obviously, we're talking perfect scenario, right?
Right.
Hello, when it happens, you're going to react. As a parent, you're going to be really frustrated. I remember my father always going like this.
Mm-hmm.
De mierda, carajo.
Cocotazos.
Yeah. Oh, he didn't hit us. He didn't beat us, but he couldn't. He'll shake us. He couldn't help it. Now, obviously, you don't want to do that, but you can sit down with them and tell them exactly, play by play, what happened and how you feel. When they see how deeply they hurt you, because I did this, I used to babysit a lot. And I used to have this, I babysat with one family for a long time, and it was divorced parents. And anyway, so the kid, he's growing and he's acting, he's being a kid. And whatever, he was playing with his friend. He didn't make the bed, whatever. The bedroom was a mess. I don't know. And it hurt me. It bothered me. He was being disrespectful. It was one of those things similar to this. Okay. And I told him, and I remember speaking to him from my heart. I was sincerely disappointed. And it really hit home. It's like what you were just saying about your stepson. When you speak to someone from okay, thank you. I'm glad that I talked. And sometimes I talk so much, and then they show me the way. Okay, so here, listen, whoever asked, this is a good one because it just came to me. This is what you want to do in this or any situation, because we are all connected. And I hope you believe this. And if you don't, let me know and I'll help you try to prove it that it's right for you. But let's just play with me. I believe that we are all one. We are all connected. And so We can all feel each other if we want to. You don't have to, and you don't have to want to. But when something like this happens with your child or your spouse or anybody, I suggest what I would do is go to your heart, imagine, picture your heart, really focus on your heart, and imagine from your heart to their hearts, it's a beautiful white light that travels from you to them. And just create in your mind, in your imagination, imagine that connection going back and forth. And your beautiful white light that you have inside of you always, and you can call it your Holy Spirit or whatever, you just your soul, your essence, your being. Imagine this going to this other person and connecting with them. And once you've done that, and you breathe a little bit so you can really communicate, and then just speak your truth. I promise you, I guarantee you, 1,000%, I am not wrong. This is going to happen. It's a fact, and it's the law. The other person, whether it's a child, a teenager, teenagers are tough, or a spouse, or an in-law, lots of problems with in-laws. I'm a wedding officiant, so I hear about the in-laws all the time. It's tough. Whoever the person is, when you do that, it's like a magic thing that you're doing, and you truly have this intention of communicating, of bringing forth your message. They will get it. They will get it at a different level, because you are never going to convince anybody here. You try to make your point. We all do this. Maybe sometimes it'll work, but it's 20% of the times that will work. What will always work is the soul connection. It's something, it's energetic. It's an energy. It's like when you walk into a room and you see someone who's sad or down, and they don't have to say anything. They can pretend they're okay, but you can feel it. If you are an empathic person, and most of us are, I think everybody is. This is why I teach what I teach, because I believe that we all, absolutely every human being in the planet, has the same abilities. You have 2 legs and 1 mouth and 2 hands, and you also have the ability to connect with each other and to tap into your intuition. It's just a matter of developing it, using it, learning it, practicing it, or not. Okay, did I go too off?
No. I get complete, because it took me back to what I was talking about with my stepson. I was talking from a real raw emotional place, and no, I didn't think about the transcending of the white light or anything like that, but I knew that this was something I had to say to him, right? And it was something that touched me, that I had to say to him, and I didn't realize he was able to receive it like that. So you were absolutely right to receive it on a completely different level. So it makes sense. It makes sense. And if you're genuine, the other person can tell you're genuine, right? But when you're full of shit, we can tell that you're full of shit too.
Putting up. How many times we talk like that, and we express ourselves from anger and from frustration all the time.
All the time. That's me all the time. That's what I told you. Anger management. That's what I needed.
I know. I'm telling you.
So I told you that this show is very organic, and we just kind of move the way the guest takes us. And we're still touching the topics that I wanted to. But she did ask another question. She said, "How do we know what our purpose is?"
Well, that's where meditation helps.
Okay.
So the first thing I would say about purpose, it's stuff you have to let go of your ego. Once again, I am a great teacher because I'm a Leo. I have a big ego, and I have I do. And
my son-in-law is a Leo.
Huh?
My son-in-law is a Leo. I know.
No, and so for purpose, life is going to show you. Life always shows you the way where you're supposed to be. Now, the tricky part is, will you go or will you resist? And that's where, that's where the going within and the letting go and doing, there's a lot of exercises. One of them that I started using years ago was, for me, that I felt something told me that's what I should aim for, was be humble and be kind. Be humble and be kind. Now with me, with my life, I mean, my life is not what I thought it would be. When I came to this country, I wanted to be a Broadway star. I wanted to be an actor, an actress, and I have the personality,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't working out. I mean, I would go to auditions, and it was like, yes, no, yes, no. It was, and finally, anyway, one thing led to the other. Long story short, I was able to say, all right, this is not for me. When I start, so I'm a wedding officiant, and now I think I have a big elopement company in New York City. It's a really big.
And we're gonna plug that too.
No, but it's a very successful company to my surprise. And to be very honest with you, it just everything really happened organically, and by me not putting blocks. Because it's not what I set out to do. And I discovered this career when I married my first husband years ago, and we needed an officiant. I didn't even know what this was. And that's how I stumbled upon it, and I started it, and I put a little website. I had nothing, no one client, nothing at the time. And I got my first client, I'll never forget. He was a Mexican boy who got married in Grand Central Station, and I think it was for the papers because he married this other young girl. I think because it was an person very little, and it was my very first wedding. But then from there, it snowballed. And seriously, life is telling me this is it. And I just started making consistent income. I left my full-time job, and one thing led to the other. And then just 5 years ago, I started the wedding packages company, and that has gone amazing. And it's just has been by me not getting in my own way and saying, no, this is not what I want to do. Because honestly, I love teaching kids, and I love doing this. The truth is, this is what I want to do. I think this is my purpose, but I don't know yet. I'm doing it.
So you can have two purposes: bringing love together and couples together, and participating in that, and then the other is also working with children. There doesn't have to be one purpose.
That's true, and it depends on how old you are, because it's like you're not going to be doing the same thing for your entire life. So
I don't know. I might.
But in my things, you're always growing and evolving. Yeah, but that's a very good question. I understand what she's thinking and how she's feeling.
Well, she just said, can we have many purposes? And I think we just answered that. You can. And I don't think I.
Oh my God, you're so young. Wow, Maria, you're very young. Okay, you haven't found yours. I'm feeling you, Maria. I am. I'm thinking. I can talk to you later. So just, I probably
As
will.
my mama dukes. So you can definitely talk to her later.
We can tap into that. Yes, because I don't want to get into it now, but I get you. And I have a theory, because you look very young. And I have a theory. When you look the way where you are evolutionary in your life. So if you're kind of done, like Taylor Swift, she was already famous and rich when she was a toddler. Fast, right? Right now she I don't think she looks like she's 30, but she's done it. Yeah. But a lot of us, we haven't done it yet. But you still look like, because Maria, you look like you'd be 40 years old. So
Stop lying to her. She says she's 62. You ain't see that? She says she's 62. Don't lie to her.
She says, but how old is she?
62.
Oh, okay, but she looks a lot younger,
That's because I get the good genes. That's why I get the good genes.
Okay, but she looks so young. And I have a theory, when you look young, is because you still have a lot to do in your life. Because it's kind of a parallel with what's there for you to do. You haven't done it yet. You haven't finished. You're not there yet. So that's why you haven't aged so much. There's a lot more to go, if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
That's my theory.
She agrees. She says it makes sense. Yeah.
I say about myself. That's
she agrees. And it's so funny that you say that, because I always do these little stories, like, whatever. And this is how they find out about me, because they don't know everything about me. So I was working in a pharmaceutical company, and I'm a nurse. So I was working for a pharmaceutical company. And I remember saying to myself, this is not where I want to be. This is not what I'm supposed to do. This is not where, and, I prayed on it. I said, move me if I'm supposed to be moved, whatever. And within 2 weeks, I had my new job as a hospice nurse, and I haven't left since. And I took a big pay cut going to the hospice company, but I didn't let that stop me from doing and I feel like this is my purpose. My purpose is to help people transition to the end of life. And that's just what my purpose is. It is what it is. And, but most people would fear that because they're like, wait a minute, I'm taking a huge pay cut. What about the bills? What about doing this? What about doing that? And I didn't let that stop me. And eventually I started building back up to where I was when I left the pharmaceutical company. But that's because that was my purpose and I was supposed to do it.
There you go.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, Jack, you look like a toddler, please.
She's younger than me. She's younger than me.
I feel like she's in her 20s. But yes, let's all use that theory. I like it. That's my theory. No, that's amazing. That's very inspirational. I love it.
Most people won't. Most people don't. They won't. We'll get back to the kids now because I know we kind of transitioned a bunch of different places.
Fear, belief and fear and self, and again, that's why we have to start when we're young. Because you get to this age and you're already, you're programmed to expect the worst.
Yes. Hope for the best, but expect the worst. Yep.
Life is hard. Life is hard. I mean, I remember, my parents were loving parents. They did their best. But they put so much crap in my head.
It's like we were talking earlier. It's like they take their jadedness from life that has occurred to them and then put that on us. Yeah. And then we have to. Yeah.
And I'm just, I'm sitting. We lived in a 1-bedroom apartment. We were 4. My sister and I slept in the couch in the living room. Because remember, this is Argentina in the 70s. This was not. I see now parents, they leave. If they have a small apartment, they let the kids have the bedroom. And they
no, they got the bedroom.
So, we lived in a very, very small place. So whatever was happening, everybody knew about it, right? So if my parents were fighting, or if they were angry, if they were frustrated, you know it and you internalize it. And you just,
it was 6 of us in a 2-bedroom apartment. We were 6 of us in a 2-bedroom apartment, 4 kids in one room, and then my parents in the other room. So yeah. There was no space, no privacy. Everybody hated everybody. Everybody ate everybody's food that wasn't supposed to. Yeah.
I remember me and my sister. Yes.
Yeah.
Same.
I think a lot of us have the same story.
Right. Yeah.
So how hard is it to get young children to engage in some meditation, and is it different for older kids?
It's not hard. I think like anything in life, I think some are so what happened so 2 things. Before the pandemic, I used to go to schools and do this in person, and I was very happily surprised. I'll say my assessment is that 7 years old is the sweet spot, so it's 7 and up, where 9, 8 years old is great. If they were a little younger, that's a little more challenging, especially in a group setting. And especially because they're, there's concern of looking foolish. Somebody's looking at me. Maybe I'll close my eyes, but my bodies won't. And they, that kind of thing. For that reason, if they're younger, it could be a little more challenging. Now, any kid 8 years and up is very easy. And if it wasn't, again, I recommend doing it at night. So if you do that before you go to bed, then, it's just a nice segue, because you need to relax and you need to close your eyes and you need to go to bed. And in my guided meditations for the evening time, it's all about, getting ready for tomorrow. Now I'm beeping.
It's okay.
Planning your day and aiming for a pleasant dream, something fun, some nice adventure when you go to sleep. Now, the one interesting thing that I found, so I used to go and teach in person. And like I told you before, I was very surprised to see 95% of the kids, they responded perfectly. And this is a little, I mean, what's frightening about this for me, when I saw that, and I saw a group of like 30 kids or 40 kids in the classrooms at public schools here in New York. And the fact that it was so easy and they got into it like this, that told me that there's a need, that they really, there's something inside of this, something about them, that they were hungry for it, they were needing it. And when it was presented to them, they just took it. They took it like pros. There was no, because I remember I just came in and I played, I have photos, but I play, with my phone, one of my tapes. That's reminds me how old I am. But I play, my meditation, and they were like just on it. And then I started teaching in out school during the pandemic, like this, virtually.
Zoom or virtual. Mm-hmm.
Right. And what was interesting, so in many cases, the parents would sign them up, right? So, I always ask the kids, how did you, oh, my mom signed me up, But there have been a few cases where the kid have told the parent, they're all 10 years old. I don't know why, they happen to be between 10 and 12. Actually, the two, they're 12, 10 and 12. And they chose it. So one mom, a lady from Long Island, she told me her kid, she's there, out school is a big, it's for kids. It's online classes.
The remote learning. Mm-hmm.
They teach classes about everything. They do knitting and math and story time and whatever, anything, painting and whatever. So you can pick whatever class you want. So the mother sits him like, okay, what do you want to do? What do you want? They have all these different classes. And he picked my class, the meditation class. The mother was surprised. And he got into it. Then he turned out to be a private, because the mother was like fascinated. Oh my God, let's do it. Then I have another kid, same thing with the mother. And the mother, and her, it was the two kids, two brothers.
Mm-hmm.
One brother, 12 years old, he was into it. The 13-year-old, not so much.
Yes.
But this is the one that I have the mother also doing it. And then I have another kid right here. It's ironic because he lives like 10 blocks. I never met him, only online. He's not allowed to go out. I said, Felix, if you want, we can meditate in the park. But because of the pandemic, parents are scared. But also he sees me every morning at 7 a.m. He's on YouTube. So I think it's really interesting, I just put it out there. And of course, not everyone. Then there's others. I noticed it works better with boys than girls, which was also something surprising to me. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I try to think, I'm a thinker, and I'm from Argentina, so we're big in psychology back there. Mm-hmm. And I thought, well, maybe because girls, we are used to daydreaming, and we are used to imagining, and we're used to all that stuff. So we always have permission for fantasy world.
Mm-hmm.
Boys, not so much. Boys are not encouraged to go I explore.
Right.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, I'm very surprised. I'm telling you, my how do you say it? My regulars, they're all boys.
Wow, that's, what, but I think that's so amazing, and that's so great, because then it tells me that there's hope, right? It tells me that.
It tells you, we know, the body knows. Your soul knows what do you need.
I think that's the most awkward time for boys, because they're starting to come into that hormonal age where things are starting to transition, and they're trying to figure out who they are. Are they a boy? Are they a man? Are they, so all of that. And to have that right at that prime time and be able to mold that and guide that, I think is just phenomenal. And that's why I think you're so amazing. I really do. I think you're so amazing. I do have one last question. And obviously with COVID in process, how can we as parents help minimize stress and anxiety? And I want to add to this, how can we pick up when our kids are stressed and anxious?
Oh, yeah, pick up. I think that's easy.
Yeah, like
Yeah, you can pick up by their eating habits, by their eyes, the way. Yes, if your child, and this is hard for parents, and it's hard to, because I see it and I see with my friends, and I just thought of someone. I have a friend whose son needs help, but she wants to. She thinks he's fantastic. If your son is extra serious, always serious, that is a big red flag, and that's
okay.
full stop. That's not okay. It is not normal. A child, a 10-year-old, 7-year-old, 12-year-old cannot be like this. If a child is super serious constantly, like most of the time, you need to step in and try to help them find the playful side of them, have fun, because especially nowadays, kids, they have a lot of pressure. Without corona, without any of this, they just feel they're very smart, they're very wise, and there's a lot of pressure to perform, to show up, to be the best, to be great. And like I said, and because the kids that are coming today, like nowadays, and maybe it was always like this, but now we know it. We know, like
Mm-hmm.
that they're very sensitive. So they pick up if you're stressed, if their environment is somehow stressful, they're like sponges. So they will take it in, and some are more sensitive than others, and they're
Yeah.
unable to express it. But I think a big, really, really, really work on, creating fun activities and silliness. The kid that I'm talking about, my friend's son, he was what, maybe 10, no more than 10. And we went to a restaurant, and you know how some restaurants, they have those things to paint, like the
Yes, the
paintings.
crayons and the paper mats. Mm-hmm.
I'm a big child, like I like to play with that.
I take my kids in desert.
And he goes, like, this was beneath him. How?
Oh, okay.
No, 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 that's not cute, that's not okay, that is frightening. Because and the way he answered, I mean, obviously the parents they're proud of their son because he's so well behaved and such a nice boy, but I'm like, I'm concerned for that kid. Don't help him be silly. And if
Right.
they are playful, and if they are overly silly, and if they are, it's going to be a handful. And as a parent, you're going to be like, shut up and stop, just be quiet
Yeah.
for a while. I get it, but trust me, that's a healthy child. Better for him to be that way and not to be like this. And wait, let's go back to minimize stress. Yes, I personally, I would like to encourage everyone to start some self-care and self-love practices daily. And so if you first, it starts always with us, it starts with you, the adult, loving yourself, taking good care of yourself, because there's no school, a lot of them are not. I say there's a few things that you can start doing and implementing. And one big thing is to display your trophies, your accomplishments. And if you don't have many, they don't have many, maybe help them see, I made a thing for me.
Oh, look at that.
Not finished yet. See, all this it has to
Yeah.
be covered. All this has to be covered. Oh, this is a picture in the classroom.
Oh, wow.
When I was in Telemundo, and there, this is my Reiki thingy,
Ah.
acting. Anyway, so this would be like a little project that you can do with the family. It sounds silly, but it is actually, it's very therapeutic. Also because since they're not going to school, maybe they're not really doing many things. And nobody's looking at, usually in school you do things and you show. There's something psychologically that's very important about presenting.
Displaying your stuff. Right. Displaying your work. Mm-hmm.
Help them do that as a family, and you should do that for yourself as an adult. I read a book, where is it, for adults. Anyway, I don't do. Another thing is the mirror exercise to do before we go to bed. Again, it's
Okay.
for adults and for children. So if you can help them do that and teach them to to create that habit. After, everybody goes to the bathroom before you go to bed. We always brush our teeth. So it's a perfect opportunity. You're looking in the mirror. You're right there. So look in the mirror and appreciate yourself for everything that you've done that day. And you will be surprised. Typically, and you ask a kid, what did you do today? Nothing.
Nothing. Mm-hmm.
I get it. And I believe it. Me too. You ask me, what did I do today? Because I don't know, nothing.
Nothing. Same stuff I do every day.
Same stuff. But if you can, and it's not that easy. I mean, it's easy, it's simple, but it's not easy, right? If you can really start taking note of every little thing that you did and pat yourself in the back for this, the big and the small. Maybe you got to meditate for 10 minutes today. That's hooray, you did it. You sat down, even if you had the intention and you did it for 5 minutes, that's a hooray. That's something that you did. That answer that you didn't give someone when you wanted to tell them off, or maybe
those are my hoorays. I didn't curse that one out, and I'm not in jail.
I know, but everything, but maybe that extra cookie that you didn't eat if you're trying to watch your weight. Okay, I did that. So I consider that a win. And so if you can help your kids start appreciating every little thing, because
I do think that's so important, because we were talking earlier, my youngest one does that kind of self-doubting and that self-down talk. And I have to keep reminding him how intelligent he is and how phenomenal he is. And it's you can tell them over and over again. It's them that have to tell themselves, right? Because it doesn't matter what you say.
You hit it. You hit the nail. That is exactly why I do what I do. Because blah, 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 blah. You can read a million books. I can tell you, you can tell them you love them. You want them to succeed. You want them to love themselves. You want them to be healthy. You want la, la, la. We all want all those things. It doesn't matter. It goes one ear out the other. It has to come from within. So going within, getting to know themselves, listening to that voice that is there. It is there. In out school, we cannot teach religion at all. Everything is very secular.
Yes.
So I found a way to keep it real, keep it straight. So we talk about the mind, we talk about the heart, and how your mind and your heart are always working together, always guiding you in the right direction. And it doesn't matter what you call anything. A fact is still a fact. You are perfect inside of you, and your body knows. And there it is, your soul, your spirit, always guiding you in the right direction. But it's about that communication. It's about going with
that
it.
Self-talk. Yep.
It's not going to come from your intellect. Like I said, anything that comes from the intellect, I discard. It has to come from your core.
So we have a couple of comments. David Johnson says they won't be brats. I don't know. So what happens is, as we go on talking and we miss a couple of comments, I'm not sure exactly what he was referring to in regards to they won't be brats.
No, they won't be brats, because what I am teaching is going to your core. And the core is the perfect part of you, that it is harmonious and is peaceful and is right. So again, don't confuse things with the ego. This is not about I'm perfect, I'm great. That's right. That's not the perfect I'm talking about. You have to just quiet the mind and really do the work, do the breathing and do the meditation, and you figure it out for yourself. It only takes a couple of minutes. You take a few breaths and you will see how you change. Your body changes, your perception changes, the way you feel changes. And you said it. You felt it when you were in rest, and all you had to do is breathe. You have all the tools are inside of you. Your body has already been designed. You have been perfectly designed to deal with things, to address things. It's just knowing how to use it. Right. It's like you are trying to walk with your hands, constantly walking with your hands. What are you doing? And someone will come and say, hey, you have feet. Wow, you can use your
Wrong ones. Yeah. Look at that. I can walk. So we have a comment from Alan, and I didn't get to read it all, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be comical. So we'll see. He says, "I look in the mirror every night before bed and sing, 'The sun will come out tomorrow.' In memory of my brother who, oh no, it's not. Okay, in memory of my brother who passed, whose favorite movie was Annie. He will haunt my dreams for revealing that." Oh well, Alan, thank you so much for sharing that. I appreciate. I'm
presence.
sorry that I thought it was going to be a joke, but you're the jokester. So,
I
but
hope you feel your brother's presence with you constantly. You know, we never die. I hope you know,
mm,
right? I don't know.
no, yeah,
Eternal.
everybody has their own beliefs
I
on that,
know, but
and we don't want to step on anybody's toes. But whatever your belief is your belief, and if you believe that you can feel the presence of a loved one who has passed around you, then that's your belief to have, and no one can take that away from you. So you live there, and you live in that, and you accept that, and you're okay with that.
that's awesome. I
But
like that song too.
yeah, like no judgment here, whatever. But I have had an amazing time with you, Veronica. I do want to share your website. So if anybody is interested in seeing Veronica's work, taking some of her classes, she is doing virtual. You can go to www.veronicamoya.com. You will also see the links on my Ciphered Knowledge with Chrissy page. So you can find all her information there. You're going to find her website. I'm going to put her IG. I'm going to put her YouTube. I'm going to put her Facebook. Like everything you need is going to be right there on the page for you. We do have a couple of more comments. So let's see. 4 just popped in. Let's see what happened. This um Alan said always. So he always feels his brother around him. And he's and then my mom says I got my many with me. Okay.
What?
Chrissy, my mom, I guess, has many of her
Oh
people
yeah,
who have
yeah,
passed with her.
yeah. All right.
Um, my smile's infectious. Why, thank you very much. He's with me every day, and I would love to hear more.
Fred, Alan, you're a very lucky man. Very pretty.
So we won't get into this, but my mom, we can talk. My mom's a very spiritual person, so we can go. She's alternative as well herself.
In a week or two, right?
Um,
Will
Yeah.
I-
Yep. Yeah. You'll meet her. You'll meet her. But I will. So we are going to end the show. Unless Veronica, you had anything else that you wanted to add.
No, no, just don't be shy. I am on YouTube every day. I do live, and so that's free. And I'm always happy to help. So really, you can reach out. Yeah.
JT says thank you. Opened up his mind a bit.
Thank you, JT.
Yes.
Oh, great. This was so much fun. I loved it.
I had so much fun too. So look, the comments are still coming in. Like we can't even stop. This is what happens all the time.
Thank you.
Very informative.
I love
Alan says thank you. Like we'll never get out of here. But I love it. This is what this is all about. Ciphered Knowledge with Chrissy is about providing information and knowledge to the community as much as I possibly can and bringing on different views, different topics. Please be sure I am moving to Sundays at 8 p.m. Next week, I am going to have a gentleman by the name of Dwayne come on the show. He is a domestic violence counselor, and he is the author of a book called The Ripple Effect. And we'll be discussing domestic violence and how it affects other people and not just the victim, but how that ripple effect goes into families and loved ones and children and how it affects them on that level. So it's going to be, today we had light and fun. And, I said some of my shows will be light and fun and some of them are going to be heavy. And we're going to delve into some real, topics and get to all this information and knowledge out as much as we can. So be sure to tune in next Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It'll be all over my page. So make sure you go to IG and Facebook. It's at Chrissy.Cipher. Like, follow, share, comment, Also, let me know what it is that you want to hear from me, what you want to talk about. This show is for you by me, so I definitely want to make sure I'm touching bases with everybody in that's on Facebook, that's in the YouTube world. So make sure you go to YouTube, 2M1L Media, like, subscribe, share, comment. Go to my Facebook page and make sure you get all of Veronica's information. I'll put that back up again. It's veronicamoya.com. I will also be posting her wedding stuff that she does. She does phenomenal work in New York City. So if anybody's looking to get married in New York City anytime soon, she is the woman to go to. She does the Central Park weddings, other places in New York as well, right?
Yeah, rooftop weddings.
Rooftop weddings and small, large, all of that. So she is a woman of many talents. So I'm very honored to have her on our show today.
Much. This was awesome.
It was definitely fun.
That sent. I have no words to express my gratitude.
Oh no, I am.
And everybody here, you really made my day. You made my night, because I had a really tough day today, really bad. And I was, talk about, you were saying how you have rage. I do too. I said to my husband, I'm in the mood. I'm like, no, just.
So I'm so glad we could do that for you.
It's all done. It's
yes.
all done. Oh
good.
I'm
so glad.
with you. It's beautiful. And then again, I don't want to be corny, but this is what happens in life when you connect with other people. So, in short, if you want a recipe for when you are stressed or angry or upset or whatever, it's all about that. Connect heart to heart. You don't have to do the whole traveling lights and any of that. Just having the intention, I do that to have a visual and
right.
But yes, it's just about opening your heart and remembering that we are all the same. At our core, we're all the same, and everyone's here to help you, if you can see it that way. So everyone's your friend. Again, I know I'm very, very corny, but this is how I feel tonight, because I had a tough day. I didn't think, I was like, oh my goodness. I'm in so much stress, and I have to do this interview, and then it's like magic. I'm always surprised. Yes, I'm always surprised. I love life. I love this. I love connecting with people.
I'm so glad, and you are welcome on the show anytime again. So absolutely, because I know there's so much more that we can talk about. Look,
I'm always happy to come and help out and chat. I'm a chatterbox. All right.
Absolutely. So yes, thank you for coming on the show. Very much appreciate it. Make sure you tune in on Saturdays and Sundays at 6 p.m. for Around the Turnbuckle. Wednesday, 12 noon for Spitting with Spitter. Although this Wednesday he will be on at 4 p.m. So make sure you tune in for that. And then I'll see you on Sunday at 8 p.m. with Ciphered Knowledge with Chrissy. And as I say all the time, is if all you've experienced is all you know, then you are in a deficit of knowledge. So make sure you join the Cipher every Sunday at 8 p.m. so we could share experiences and all become just a little more mindful and knowledgeable. So on that note, everybody have a wonderful Monday evening, and we'll see you next week.